Please respond in the Phoenix Ascending channel. Yay! Okay. Awesome. Okay. My voice is a little scratchy, then a little more scratchy than usual, I guess. And it's a little hoarse, actually, because I'm still kind of recovering from being sick. No spam. So today we kind of are having this slightly impromptu reading because I wanted to celebrate Volare, which is Volare turning 2. And if you haven't seen the celebratory post or all our pictures from a recent Singapore meetup, which is how I got sick, you can come check this link out. Hi, Yuko, which, by the way, the graphic and the post was made by Yuko, so she is awesome. We caught her from Doomed to be Cannon Fodder. And today I will be reading, I'm going to try for the first 2 chapters of Phoenix Ascending, which is this novel. It's going to be my new novel that we are launching over the weekend. So those of you who have followed my announcements for a while know that I was actually working on another novel called Return of the Swallow, and that is still going to happen. It's being slightly pushed back because Phoenix Ascending really caught my eye. It's actually shorter chapters, so I really wanted to try to be able to update very quickly for my next novel, and that's how Phoenix Ascending made it to the top of the list first, basically, so I could do chapter spam. So Phoenix Ascending isn't actually too far into the raws at the moment. It's about 200 chapters by my count. So that means we'll get caught up really quickly, and then I can start Return of the Swallow. So Phoenix Ascending is this really, I'd say, heart-pounding, really hot-blooded novel. It's really strong on vengeance, on revenge, and a lot of action. Whereas Return of the Swallow is more brainy, I would say. It's a lot more subtle, and it's a lot more about scheming and a knife in the shadows as someone smiles at you. And so I'm going to go start the reading of the first, I'm going to start off with a synopsis, but then how I want to do this is I'll do the chapters, pause after chapter 1, see if there's any questions, and then we can open it up for a general Q&A after the entire session. So there's a lot of action and a lot of different characters in the first 2 chapters. I would definitely try to do all the voices. Definitely wish I was a voice actor at this time because it's just so good. So then, all of you guys, if you want to navigate to the first page of Phoenix Ascending, actually, give me a second. I think I need to blow my nose. Okay, and if you have any questions, please ping me the questions in the Phoenix Ascending chat. And then when I'm done, say with the first chapter, I'll check my mentions to see if anyone had any comments or questions about anything. Okay, and if at any point in time my audio cuts out or anything, hopefully it stays okay. I tested it earlier. If my audio cuts out or you can't hear me, let me think. PM me. I'm going to put my phone on the side so I can see you guys. Okay, so Phoenix Ascending is written by Billowing Snow, translated by me, and edited by the ever awesome Dana, who, by the way, has been putting out all the double releases of SOTR earlier today for Volare, so I'm sure to check them out. The heavens and earth change when the Blood Phoenix descends. She is the chosen one of the Blood Phoenix, and she shoulders the blood debt of the entire royal clan. She renounces her fair facade with resolution and enthralls the world whilst clad in white, bestirring nations and dynasties with the flip of a hand. He is an invincible war god and never shows mercy in his slaughter. His frozen heart is disturbed by her alone, and his tenderness reserved only for her. Do we work together with one heart, or walk the separate paths of strangers? Do we clash against each other with weapons instead? In this vast world, I compose music only with you to astound eras to come. And this novel is from Zonghen, one of our many partners. Actually, I just snuck a quick peek at the comments in the channel. So yeah, this reads like he's an ice cube or a Cold War god, but he's actually not. I was very surprised. I think this part of the description is a little inaccurate. He's really, really not. He appears like that at first, but I guess to me he's really not. So chapter 1, Country and Home Are Lost. Western Tre, the royal palace. Soldiers and weapons clashed fiercely as danger crept in on all sides. Royal Mother, I'm not going. I want to be with you and Royal Father. I'm not going. Junhuan's tears trickled down her face like pearls from a broken necklace. The palace gates had been broken through, and Western Tre was facing its doom. Far more than the cursed invaders, the one she hated the most was herself. Her helplessness. That she would be forced to cling to survival in the shadows. I'm not going either. Junhao was only 6 and didn't understand much of the world yet, but he too maintained a death grip on the hem of his mother's clothes. Hauer, be good. Go with your sister. Tears sparkled in their mother's eyes as she picked up Junhao's little hand to put it into Jinghuan's. Huanger, Hauer is still young. If not for yourself, you must leave for him. You must make it out. Royal Mother! Royal Mother! Junhuan shook her head fiercely, but her throat constricted in grief. She couldn't squeeze any more words out. My love, take Huanger and Hauer and quickly leave through the hidden tunnel. A man who exuded killing aura strode into the room. He was the emperor of Western Tre, Junhao Mo. Even the blood that matted his face couldn't conceal the wariness between his brows, but his tone brooked no opposition. Yin Yun, he roared out in stern command. Protect the Empress, Prince and Princess in their escape. Understood. Yin Yun growled, voice hard as flint. Huanger, you will always be a princess of Western Tre. Her mother kissed Junhuan's forehead, sorrow suffusing her gentle eyes. Go! Live! Royal Mother! Junhuan clenched her fist tightly, her nails biting deep into her flesh and carving out trails of blood. Bam! She dropped to the floor and kowtowed heavily thrice towards her mother and Junhang Mo. She enunciated each word with painstaking clarity, as if swearing a vow. Royal Father, Royal Mother, Huanger will protect her little brother well. Junhang Mo turned the dragon throne around to reveal a concealed passage, a flicker of emotion causing a ripple across his resolute face. A final word escaped his lips, just loud enough for her to hear. Live. Junhuan grasped Junhao's hand tightly and walked into the tunnel without another glance back. She couldn't look back. She had to stay alive with Junhao. Clang! She heard the doors to the hall being smashed open. The armies of Eastern Wu had arrived, but her mother and father were still inside the hall. She whipped her head back only to see, in the last moment before the door closed, her 5th royal brother, Junyu, leering as he plucked out the tendons in her father's hands and feet. She also saw her mother draw a longsword and take her life in front of the throne, her blood drawing a long arc through the air. Father! Mother! She screamed her life out in the tunnel, her tears reddening with blood. Father and mother are dead. Western Tre has fallen. Your Highness, the Eastern Wu armies will soon be upon us. We must flee. Yin Yun had to hold Junhuan back with all his might. Right! She had to make it out. She had to live. It was the only way she could make those people who destroyed her family and home pay in blood. The tunnel made for the mountains in the back and was designed with various traps and mechanisms. Although the traps were sophisticated enough to momentarily trip up the enemy, they still weren't capable of completely halting the pursuit. Junhan fled in a panic through the tunnel with Junhao in tow. They exited the tunnel and stopped at a crossroads, but didn't even have the chance to catch the breath before they heard the sounds of pursuit growing closer. This won't do. At this rate, we'll be caught sooner or later. Junhan grit her teeth. Yunlin, take Howard away with you. I'll go divert them. Your Highness! Howard is Western Tri's only royal bloodline. He has to live. Junhan stooped down and lightly caressed Junhao's small face. Howard, you must live. It seemed like this would be the end of her road. She closed her eyes and opened them, her eyes hard and determined. Come at me, then! She unsheathed her long sword, cold light glinting off the blade and onto her face. Her blood-dyed robes fluttered even in the absence of any wind. The enemy troops arrived in full battle gear. It was quite a scene. One diminutive girl standing surrounded by layers upon layers of soldiers. Two luxuriously clad men emerged from their ranks. All the birds of the sky sang in unison 17 years ago. Even as natural phenomena danced across the earth and sky, they heralded and welcomed the birth of the blood phoenix. The Emperor of Eastern Wu sized up Junhuang with a calculating eye. It said that whoever possesses the blood phoenix would also possess the world. Surrender to Eastern Wu, and you have our personal guarantee of a life of untold wealth and fortune. Indeed, Sixth Sister, His Majesty is mighty and wise beyond measure and designed to conquer the four lands. He will surely treat you well if you defect to Eastern Wu. From just behind the Emperor, the second man, Junyu, made sure to bring his 2 cents of flattery. Animal! Traitor who colluded with the enemy and unfilial bastard who committed patricide? Where is your heart? Junhuang glared at Junyu, her eyes bloodshot from anger and hate. Her own brother had incited civil unrest in Western Tri, colluded with Eastern Wu to destroy Western Tri, personally killed their father and forced her mother to take her own life. Now he wanted her to defect to the enemy? Die! Junhuang threw caution to the winds as she let loose a battle cry and charged at Junyu. Her sword flickered through the air, seeking the taste of his blood. The civil unrest that Junyu had carefully cultivated had come to a head the previous night. In a display of impeccable timing, Eastern Wu's armies also descended upon their kingdom at the same time. Faced with external pressure and internal troubles, the kingdom could only hold on for a single night before Eastern Wu had overwhelmed the palace gates. The culprit behind all of it, the one who had started this cascade of dominoes, was her own brother, Junyu. Sick sister, Western Tri is no more. Why don't you submit to Eastern Wu? You won't be treated any worse than how you were as a princess of Western Tri. Junior parried her blows desperately, but he somehow found the breath to keep up a steady stream of persuasive words. Piss off! Junho was half crazed with bloodlust, and it began to show itself in her swordplay as unstoppable swings that battered away at Junwoo's guard. One last blow broke his stance and guard, and she swung her sword down, aiming for his throat. Far too off balance to recover, her brother's eyes suddenly widened. He could only watch as the longsword approached with the finality of the executioner's blade. Gah! Half an inch away from Junwoo's throat, the longsword faltered and missed. Junho clutched her chest and staggered back, falling to her knees. Blood continuously flowed out through her fingers. She raised her head to glare at the Emperor of Eastern Wu. Despicable, petty villain! The poison from that concealed weapon has only one antidote, and it's in our hands. Emperor Zhou Shaotian raised a hand to stop the first line of troops from charging forward. He looked down at her from his lofty position. You will receive the antidote, lands, and a title of king if you defect to Eastern Wu. Well? So that was the first chapter. And hope you guys liked it. I'm going to pop a cough drop right now. Sorry for clearing my throat halfway through. Thank you. I tried. But a voice actor and proper, voice actors for audiobooks do it so much better. I'm going to check mentions for questions now. Yes, Preeti will be recording and posting to YouTube for people who didn't catch the full of Chapter 1. Question from Rory. What does it mean to be a blood phoenix? It seems to be something everyone knew, yet they're unsure who it is. Oh, actually, they are sure that Junhuan, our MC, is a blood phoenix. And basically, she's seen as the incarnation of the blood phoenix, a very sacred creature in Chinese mythology. And basically, it's like a prophecy. I guess you could compare it to the Holy Grail in King Arthur's time. Whoever holds it has to find favor, therefore, something like a divine mandate to rule the world, be recognized as a true king, etc., etc. And as Junhuan's treacherous older brother mentions in Chapter 1, the Emperor of Eastern Wu wants to conquer and unite all of the kingdoms, which are divided into four main kingdoms right now. Western Tri, which is just fallen, Eastern Wu that attacked them, and there's a northern and southern kingdom as well that will show up in a few chapters from now. So those are the main kingdoms that comprise of China at the moment in our story, and the emperor is seeking to become the emperor overall. Parthas and a title of king? Well, yes. So the draws say that she'll receive a title of Wang, which places her. I would have written prince, but I think he meant to give her an even sweeter temptation. The king would elevate her rank, but still place her below emperor, which the emperor of Eastern Wu would still remain sovereign overall. Who says I can't be a female king? Thank you, lady. Yes, north, east, west, and south, southern kingdoms. So they attacked Western Tri for wanting to conquer it. Eastern Wu attacked Western Tri, and Eastern Wu was aided by Junhuan's older brother, her fifth royal brother, who basically caused the country to go to hell in a handbasket internally. Hey, Crossed, so is the story already finished? It is not. There's about 200 or so chapters out right now. So basically, the story starts off with about 1.5, 1.6, or 7K long chapters, and then it shoots to over 3K characters and chapters after, I think, was it 20 or 30 or so chapters? Basically, I'll be splitting the longer chapters, but I'll be updating around 2 times a day after DCF finishes. So then basically you guys are still getting a full chapter anyhow, regardless. But as you can see, there's so much action packed in even a shorter chapter. And it actually didn't feel very short to me. How often will this be updated? So it's will be updated. I'm planning on 5 times a week before DCF finishes. DCF has about a month or so left, and so when DCF finishes, I'll be able to steam on ahead at full speed. Right. So the novel is not transmigration. This is actually, and neither is Return of the Swallow. It's just your homegrown girl in the era that we're writing about. And that was actually really important to me. We've read so many transmigration novels lately, whether in terms of soul or entire physical body or into a human or into a cat, whatever. I really wanted something different, which was, I guess, going back to the usual, just a very smart and courageous MC trying to deal with the hand of cards that life has dealt her with. It's weak to strong. Well, she's pretty strong right now, and you will see that especially in the second chapter. She is kicking butt. I'd say it's kind of up and down. She starts out strong, it falls into a weaker position because, hey, her country got destroyed, and then she claws her way back up again, and it is an exhilarating ride. How many love rivals will there be? Well, currently, I think people who like romance pairs. For me, that's what I like as well, which is another reason why I chose this novel. There's definitely, for this one at least, it's very straightforward in that there's no silliness about, oh, I think I like him, but I like him too. Oh my gosh, he likes me. No, none of that craziness. It's very straightforward, and the hot-bloodedness of the first couple of chapters carries through the entire novel. She is very much, you screw me over, I will screw you back. Rawr! I'm going to get revenge for my family and my country. So no silliness in that area. Oh, tons of face slapping, both in action and in plotting and scheming. Okay. Any pressing questions that might affect your enjoyment of chapter 2? I will start reading the second chapter soon. Oh, Parth asked me how many chapters are there right now. Ooh, I think I have the page open. Give me 1 sec. Give me 1 sec. There are, that's old. Hang on. That's very old. There are 122 at the moment. However, please do remember that I will be splitting the longer chapters. So that can make it about 150 chapters. I'm up to about chapter 100, and there is no rape so far. But, as the story progresses, I actually got in touch with the author's editor, and I got the entire outline of the entire novel, so I know where things are going. And as far as I can tell, if there is rape, she didn't see it as a huge plot device to actually highlight in the outline. So I do believe there is rape. Oh, the male lead. You're asking male lead, right, Kitsune? You'll see them soon. Okay. I've still got half a cough drop in my mouth. This will make reading interesting. You know what? Okay. I'm gonna grab a sip of water if everyone wants to navigate to salvation. Okay. We go on with Chapter 2. Chapter 2. Salvation. One should die on the sands of the battlefield, fighting for one's country and honor. What need is there for one's body to be returned with pomp and circumstance? You destroyed my western Tre, killed my royal father, and still dare dream that I would fall at your feet? Junhan's laugh was a cold bark. She swayed on her feet for a second, and quick as a thought, lunged towards Emperor Zhou. Her sword screamed through the air as she stabbed straight at him. The emperor hadn't thought that Junhuan would still have strength left in her after taking the blow from the concealed weapon. In that crucial moment, he yanked Junyu, who had been standing next to the emperor, in front of him to take the blow. Blades go only where they are commanded, and Junhuan's full strike cut deeply into Junyu's arm. Ah! A ghastly scream ripped through the air as Emperor Zhou saw Junyu's arm hacked off. He lifted a foot and kicked ruthlessly at Junhuan. Pain exploded from her abdomen, and she lost her grip on her sword, flying backwards through the air as she spewed out a mouthful of blood. I'll give you one last chance. The emperor's expression was dark. Surrender, or die. The cliff was behind her. Junhuan wiped off the blood on her lip with a swipe of her hand and threw her head back in a laugh. Surrender? She painfully clambered to her feet, her face a mocking parody of the emperor. She was one person against thousands of cavalry, but not a hint of fear could be found on her face. Her tiny figure seemed to glow with a heroic air that towered to the skies that made it difficult for someone to look directly at her. Framed against the sky and the earth, her expression and posture could only be described with one word: brilliance. The light in Emperor Zhou's eyes suddenly dimmed. He'd always dismissed the saying that one who possessed the blood phoenix would have the world, but he'd finally found an inkling of understanding in that moment. But what of a dead blood phoenix? His expression was dark as he clenched his fist to give the order. Spears in hand, his men surged towards Junhuan like an unending wave. I was born a citizen of Western Tre, and I would die a ghost of Western Tre. As if she'd let herself fall into enemy hands even in death. Although I die here, my vengeance for the crimes against my family and home will never abate. Junhuan's words, along with her laughter, was heartbreaking to hear. With that last threat left ringing in the air, she turned on a single foot and leapt off the cliff without the slightest hesitation. Emperor Zhou's expression changed drastically. He charged right up to the edge of the cliff, but Junhuan had already been swallowed up in the darkness of the abyss. Seemingly bottomless, there seemed to be no way that Junhuan could possibly survive. Meanwhile, outside the capital of Western Tre, a troop of cavalry quickened their paces and flew towards the direction of the Western Tre capital. Report! A scout quickly galloped towards the rear with an urgent report. We've discovered the armies of Eastern Moon 10 kilometers ahead. There are roughly 5,000 men advancing on our position. Eastern Wu is retreating? The leading general asked in low voice. Western Tre has fallen. Is there news of its princess? No sign of a prisoner carriage! No prisoners of war! The scout replied swiftly. The general remained silent for a moment and suddenly gave the order, all troops, lie in wait. We await the enemy. The two armies clashed together and gave birth to rivers of blood. How goes counting the prisoners? The heavily armored general's footsteps were sure and strong. In response to the general, we captured 324 enemy soldiers. The commander of the Wu army has fled. Commander Men Liao is in pursuit. Have you learned of the whereabouts of Princess Junhuan of Western Tre? The man took off his helmet and revealed a handsome face with clearly delineated features. It was a shockingly young face, with highly spirited brows, bright eyes, a high nose, and thin lips. However, there wasn't the slightest expression on his resolute face, and he was as cold as 9 meters of hard stone. "This subordinate has interrogated the prisoners. The princess of Western Tre was forced off a cliff." "Off a cliff?" The man's footsteps halted as a look in his eyes sharpened. "Send out search parties. I want to see her if she's alive and her corpse if she's dead." "I live deep in the mountains, la-di-da-di. I don't close my doors at night, lo-di-do-di-do." A white-haired old man was wearing a wicker basket on his back and humming a strange tune, threading through the forest with a meandering route. Although his hair was white, his face was youthful, and he was wearing clothing of white hemp. He had a piercing gaze as sharp as a hawk's. "Eh? Wait." He suddenly halted and wrinkled his nose, his brows slowly knitting together. "The smell of blood?" He began searching as he muttered to himself, suddenly glimpsing a bloody person hanging off a tree branch. The sight shocked him into violently retreating a few paces. However, randomly strewn rocks were behind him, and he was instantly tripped with his motion, crashing to the ground as he lost his balance. "Oh, my bones! My waist!" He cried out in pain and rubbed his butt, glaring ferociously at the person in the tree. "How dare you scare me? How dare you? I'm going to fix you up right and proper, I am." When he looked closely, he realized that it was an injured girl. The white-haired old man hauled Junghwan onto the bed with much effort, panting with great exertion. "Now I'm darn tired. How many herbs and medicines will I need to recover from this?" He took Junghwan's pulse as he sighed over his hardships for a while. However, his expression suddenly grew serious. "Now this pulse doesn't seem right. She's definitely been poisoned, but it's a kind I've never seen before." He tugged his ears and scratched his sideburns for a while, musing. "Whatever, I'll try some medicines first. You darn chit, you! How dare you scare me? See how I'm going to fix you up right and proper." He trotted off to fetch a large amount of herbs. This is for nourishing nether regions and lungs. Let's try that first." "No reaction. This is for relaxing tendons and promoting circulation." "Will she die from blood loss after losing all that and then using this?" Whatever. Let's just try it first. Still no reaction? Then this." He filled the girl up with an endless stream of medicines, but the girl on the bed had no reaction. He couldn't help but sigh with amusement. "This chit is something, huh? Any ordinary person would be screaming and begging for death after all these medicines, but you don't make it peep." His eyes suddenly lit up with a gleam as he slapped his thigh. "Yes, I happen to lack a test subject. You'll make the perfect one since you can take them all so well." In the depths of the night and pearly splendor, the pure moonlight traveled through the windowsill to spill over the diminutive body on the bed. Her ashen face seemed even more fragile beneath the moonlight. "Royal father! Royal mother! No! No! No!" Junhwan abruptly sat up in bed, her chest heaving. The ghastly deaths of her father and mother in her dreams were tormenting her almost to the brink of insanity. Western Cho's royal parents had died in a devastating way. Her baby brother was missing, and she had nothing anymore. The scenes from her dream repeated themselves and rolled in her mind over and over again, with the faces of the Emperor of Eastern Wu and Junwu switching out for each other, over and over again. She stared blankly outside, but started with a shake of her head. She wasn't dead. She stared at her hands with incredulous disbelief. She was alive! She jumped down from a cliff, and she was alive! Ha! Ha ha! Ha ha ha! She laughed lowly at first, as if possessed by an internal demon, and her voice grew louder and ever more heart-wrenching. The heavens had taken pity on her and left her alive. Since she was alive, she had to avenge Western Tri and find her brother. And what are you carrying on about in the middle of the night? How's anyone supposed to sleep through all this racket? The door banged open as a white-haired old man with youthful features came charging in huffily. He pointed at Junhuang's nose and started cursing loudly. Junhuang had long since noticed that her wounds had all been dressed. She knew that the person in front of her had saved her. She took a deep breath in. Many thanks for your kind act in saving my life. I have important matters about me and dare not disturb further. I will leave now. And that was chapter 2. I'm scrolling up to the comments. It's like she's an MC or something. I mean, yeah, she is. The story would have been really short if she died, right? Are you sure these are shorter than DCF? Word count wise, not far. In the Norxing nether regions bit, in the Raws it says Ing Chu, which usually is the women's nether regions. In Chinese, I guess, traditional medicine, there is a whole school of thought about there's too much yin energy in a woman, so too much cold energy, so that affects the operations of their internal organs in a bad way. And the nether regions have to do with like childbirth and just being a woman. So there's a whole school of thought around health of that area. We can do a word count, actually. But I do believe the length is similar. There are longer paragraphs in Phoenix Ascending because, well, recently DCF has been a ton of, but I do, you know what? Let me pull up. Let me do a word count right now. If anyone has any questions, ping me with them in the Phoenix Ascending channel, and I will get to them. But I am curious. Let me do a word count. Great. I have no raws for. Oh crud. Let me see. Okay. I can only go off of the translated word count because we currently have no chapter raws. So, chapter 247 of DCF has almost 1,400 English words. Let me find let's do chapter 1 of, actually no, chapter 2 might be better. Chapter 2 of Phoenix Ascending. Oh, chapter 2 of Phoenix Ascending actually is 1,500, longer by 100 words translated, which means the raw character count should be similar. Yeah, DCF has had a lot of dialogue lately, and it's had a lot of fluffy action. Hey, Sean, I love Ying, the end. No, we cannot get a meow. My voice is so scratchy right now. DCF, fluffy action, yes. Did you guys read? No, Sean, UTS is not better than SOTR or DCF. DCF is best out of those three. Then SOTR, and then a wide gap, and then maybe UTS. Any questions about maybe the novel? Whoa, we got a lot of people in. see as I was reading. Hey everyone, any questions about the novel or Phoenix Ascending or Return of the Swallow or DCF, which I oversee, or SOTR, which I have a big team with me these days, which is how I am able to churn out so many chapters. Make sure to read the announcement post, guys. I credit everyone who works on a chapter. There's already been 4 bonus chapters for Volare today for SOTR. There will be, I'm gonna say it's gonna clock in at about 10 total bonus chapters. So be sure to be checking the Wuxia World. What will be the genre for Phoenix Ascending? I mean, it's a lot of people, they see female MC and they're like, oh okay, done. But as you guys could see from the first 2 chapters, it's not really about romance. And in fact, I'm up to chapter 100 something in the Raws. Romance doesn't actually play a huge part for a while. And it's a lot of, actually I'd probably say action and adventure even. And right, I was going to say, I picked Phoenix Ascending also partially because I remember reading on several other novels that happened to be female MC and romance oriented. Some girl readers actually asked, are there no wuxia or more action and adventure oriented female MC novels? And I was like, you need to read Phoenix Ascending. It's definitely action-oriented. Let's see. What's the wrong pronunciation of wuxia? I pronounce it wuxia. Because the Chinese is wuxia. So if I pronounce it in English, wuxia, yeah, wuxia. I mean, I can't really say wuxia because non-Chinese speakers won't be able to pronounce it. If you want funnies-oriented novels, check out Chiyomira's PAH, Parallel Alliance Head. That is super, super funny. Tons of modern slang in ancient China. It's actually really hard to translate because there's so much slang, but it is really, really. Oh yeah, and check out UPX. Yeah, Chinese novel justice at all. They're usually either ripped off from a game, or really ugly, or they have nothing to do with the novel. I will totally welcome fan art later on for a replacement cover. I saw a question. Oh, Return of the. So, Return of the Swallow's table of contents was actually out in public for a bit, and then I privatized it because it's going to be maybe a few months before I actually start updating it frequently. But basically, let me read the synopsis of Return of the Swallow. I love it so much. It was so, in the line of my work, I read a lot of novels. So at this rate, maybe I read or I assess maybe, I don't even know, let's just say 20, 30 novels a month. So, and mostly web novels. Print novels are entirely different genre completely when it comes to character development and etc. So, read a lot of web novels, and the plots, of course, when you read so many, they start to blur and blend together. Like many of you guys following a lot of different novels, if you see the same MC name in 3 different novels, crap, you're going to get confused. So, and it's difficult to hold my interest because I've read a ton of books since young. I am a huge bookworm. Return of the Swallow is actually the first novel in a very, very long while that really drew me in and then grasped my heart and wouldn't let go. I love it very much so. And, oh, by the way, so Chinese novels have really bad covers and they have really, really bad synopsis. So the original synopsis for Return of the Swallow is, She was the firstborn of the prime minister, but was switched out at birth in infancy to eke out a living in the city. When she finally returned to her family, she found herself in the throes of inner residence scheming instead. She wanted to reside peacefully with her sister and be a filial member of the younger generation family, but this gem of a family didn't want to leave her be. Thus, she woke up to the harsh reality that she herself would have to join in the fray in order to live a good life. Fighting white lotuses, trampling green tea, she can mount an ultimate comeback even when dealt with a lousy hand. It's just, you traitor, don't think I'll shelter you just because you've won over this girl's stomach? How impressive, eh, Prince? Does your family know that you've been your enemy, framing your loyal subjects, and cooking up a storm in the kitchens? So basically, from the synopsis, and actually greatly when I read it, and it seems like your typical airheaded, really boring, comeback of the true-born daughter stopping all kids. Really boring, really fluff. But this is my own synopsis. Reclaimed by her noble family after a childhood that wasn't meant to be hers, Qing Yining is bestowed the gift of a hellish family instead. Just as she turns her lot around and gains acceptance, her country is plunged into danger. In this absolutely riveting and spellbinding tale, what does our MC do when an entire dynasty is at stake? Slightly better, maybe, hopefully. Maybe I should rewrite that too. But basically, what this is a girl was abandoned at birth. Not abandoned. She was mistakenly swapped out at birth and spends her childhood growing up in the random countryside. And her noble family finally realizes that, I actually forget why they realize that. It's been a slight while. They finally realize that and welcome her back home. But of course, there's a lot of scheming, there's a lot of plotting. And it's actually very relevant plotting and typical, oh, I want, this jeweled hairpin, or I want that prince, blah, blah, blah. It's actually more relevant scheming than that because it somehow gets tied into scheming, of course, in the imperial court, which then is further rolled up into politics of this dynasty, of this nation, and then politics with another nation and war. So what seems like a small spat between maybe two girls actually slowly grows bigger and bigger and bigger into this huge conflict that will determine the fate of essentially ancient China. To me, that's a pretty cool bigger picture, and it's very, very brainy. So, what we got in the first two chapters of Phoenix Ascending, a lot of heart-pounding emotion and action and, weeping tears of blood. This one's very much, silently in the shadows, spinning the web. And for those who like really smart MCs, you will love this one a lot. And the author she's a really, really great writer. She is that's all I can say. She's a really great writer. It actually reads like a print novel. So there is a lot of detail and a lot of scene and world building. So the settings are gorgeous. So yeah, look forward to that. Those chapters are slightly longer, so I'm going to take my slight sweet time with those. I'm going to scroll up briefly through the chat and see if there are any questions. I am super excited about it. Parth, author approved what? Oh, chapter count? Author will totally approve. So we have full, my brain's breaking down. We have full freedom. We have the freedom we have some creative freedom with our translations. So if I want to redo chapter count, I can redo chapter count. Because really, when they're put into ebooks, it's just one huge chapter anyways. Oh, cover! Yeah, we do. All of the Volare novels, we have the right to redo the cover. So no worries. Don't reject them. They're pretty. I am super behind on chat because I realize people aren't paying writing stuff, so I need to scroll up. And Sean pinged me like 6 times in a row for the glories of DCF. Yes, I'm 2 years old today. Woohoo. Will there be cookies next time I read the chapter? Have a cookie right now. Oh, there's a whale eating thanks to GZ. Yes, we created all these awesome emojis and the various graphics that I share on my Twitter, which, by the way, guys, Volare has an official Twitter, twitter.com/Volare Novels, as well as Facebook, facebook.com/Volare Novels. We have a kick-ass marketing team. Yuko's in VC and online right now, as well as Barbara and Pion. So they actually do a lot of really cool graphics and celebratory content. So we only post those on our Twitter and Facebook. So make sure to follow them to get them all. And plus, a lot of the translators banter with each other on Twitter. And speaking of graphics, we will be having, so Volareversary started about 11 hours ago if you're on the Asia. And we've already been posting many mass releases, bonus chapters. If you check out the recent posts, sidebar, Meh always goes crazy during Volareversary. He is amazing. I'll do a quick screenshot to show everyone. So we have bonus releases, and we have shared some pictures of a recent meetup that we held in Singapore. If you want to check out everyone from the Volare crew, and we also invited Rusho World to it as well. So it was really, really fun. And later on today, we will be having a contest. So basically, that will be a celebratory graphic that Yuko's put together with chibis of everyone she could squeeze in the last couple of weeks. And the contest will be, guess who is who. And the winner will receive a shirt. One example of which is highlighted in our official celebratory post. By the way, this contest is not available to Volare staff. Sorry, guys. That would be such an unfair advantage. Only readers. Oh, my voice cut. Chibi contest. Guess the chibi. Prize is Volare shirt, only open to readers. Hints, if the translator wants to give you one. Apparently, there might be a lot of bald chibis. I was saying yesterday, she was in tons of bald chibis. Staff will get free shirts this holiday season. That's why you are not allowed to participate. 24 chibis! Holy crud. Alright, this will be a really fun game, guys. Make sure to check it out. And any questions, comments, concerns? The ads are getting a little... They will continue to be annoying this month. I'm sorry, guys. We have a in-house ad ops team working with ads, and sadly, December is open season for all tons of crap, essentially, because companies, they want to spend their budgets before the end of the year, which is in 2 weeks. Brands, they want to get all the Christmas and holiday shoppers, so basically everyone's throwing crazy, silly amounts of money at ads. And a lot of the bad ones are going to slip through. There's so many ads coming through. So if you get a bad ad, please do either email it in with the link of the ad, your operating system, and your location. You've got to have the link. I can't block it if I don't know the link, please. Or you can report it in our Bad Ads and Bugs channel on Discord. Have I seen everyone? That is the goal one day. I'd love to. Okay, well then. If no other comments, questions, concerns, cookie requests. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Sorry my voice wasn't the best. It'll be better next time. Please support Phoenix Ascending. Oh, it will be officially launched over the weekend. I kind of killed my team and myself and Dana for all the bonus releases of SOTR today. Originally, I was going to push for Phoenix Ascending to be launched today, but I think I would have literally killed somebody on the team if that happened as well. So it's going to be launched over the weekend, depending on how much sleep everyone gets. What is my favorite cookie? Oatmeal raisin. I love. Yes, SOTR. More chapters coming out soon. Oh, yeah, it's Sovereign of the Three Realms on Rusha World. My bad. Oh, okay, well, that is the cue for me to go since my voice. Thank you all for tuning in, and check out Volare all day today for festivities. Bye! Oh, one last question. Okay, go ahead, Cross. It's my 11 a.m. Not going to sleep, dude. I need to TLC many, many novels and translate. Type faster, Cross. Thank you too, Rui. I love Christmas. Yay, Christmas spirit. Dude, man. What? Yes, there will be a chance for Mugachi to come back. Absolutely. I think patrons already see where this particular arc is going. So there are almost 20 advanced chapters on Patreon, guys. Go for it. Okay, bye.